Together they have become corrupt. There is none who does good, not even one. And then if you turn to Romans 3, the apostle picks this up, quotes it, and puts it into the context of man's complete depravity and his complete and total dependence upon God. So he gives us the ultimate biblical interpretation of this, if it wasn't already clear. But you turn to Romans 3, and again, you're familiar with this section, starting in verse 9. I'll just read it, or really say verse 10. As it is written, Romans 3:10, as it is written, none is righteous, no, not one. No one understands, no one seeks after God. All have turned aside. Together they have become worthless. No one does good, not even one. Their throat is an open grave. They use their tongues to deceive. The venom of asp is under their lips. Their mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. In their paths are ruin and misery, and the way of peace they have not known. And here is the summary of it. And this comes right from Proverbs, right throughout the whole Bible. There is no fear of God before their eyes. What's the beginning of wisdom? The fear of God. Okay? And so how do we go back to Proverbs 8? When we see this loving of wisdom, it should immediately tell us that if we're to love wisdom, wisdom has loved us. Wisdom has done something in our own hearts, in our own mind, to turn us towards wisdom, that we would seek her diligently in all that we do. And so wisdom calls out to humanity, but we need ultimately that regeneration. We need the new birth. We need the Holy Spirit to do that work if we're going to seek after her. And then you have this great promise. Those who seek after her, those whom God has done that work, will find her, will find wisdom. And so we reach out to God and we seek after him. And so these are special promises and special verses that we can really chew on and think about, especially as Christians, as we appreciate. We love wisdom. We love Christ, as we will see here. And we love it because Christ has worked in our heart by his Spirit to help us to seek him and to find him as we seek him. And in verse 18, as we just go down, verse 18, although wisdom is to be chosen over riches, we see riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. And wisdom also promises good things in this life, as we see here, if we follow wisdom, like the virtuous wife that fears the Lord, as we read in chapter 31. Wisdom brings profit, riches, and honor. But the riches and honor she brings, as we see here in verse 18, they're enduring. And that's a key word here. They're not passing, they're not fleeting, they're enduring, they're everlasting. And that's the emphasis that the text is putting on that. Wisdom here cannot dissipate. And the riches and the wealth that come from the wisdom of God will always last. Turn over to Ecclesiastes. Turn over to Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Ecclesiastes has a few things to say about wealth. Has a lot to say about wealth, actually. And so Ecclesiastes 5, verse 10, there's just a few verses here. And Ecclesiastes, as many of us know, speaks to us. It's a lot of really powerful Christian philosophy, if you will. But it speaks to us under the sun. If you take God out of the picture and you live as if God is not in your thinking, and we know that that's impossible because in one sense God has made us in his image, but we try to repress the truth and unrighteousness. And if you live in that existence where you're trying to repress the existence of God and you seek after the things of this world, they don't last. And so the book of Ecclesiastes, the writer Solomon saying, you can seek after the things of this world and they can gone in a moment. Well, that's not the enduring wealth that Solomon's talking about in Proverbs 8. So let's just read a few verses here. And we know this, if we've been around very long in our life, how fleeting the things of this world are. But it's a good reminder. Ecclesiastes 5:10, I'll just read a few verses here to give you a flavor of what's happening here. He says, he who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This also is vanity, or is foolishness. It's meaningless. When goods increase, they increase who eat them. And what advantage has their owner but to see them with his eyes? Sweet is the sleep of a laborer, whether he eats little or much, but the full stomach of the rich will not let him sleep. He's going to be worrying about his money. There's a grievous evil that I've seen under the sun. Riches were kept by their owner to his hurt, and those riches were lost in a bad venture. And he is a father of a son, but he has nothing in his hand. As you came from your mother's womb, you shall go again, naked as you came, and shall take nothing from his toil that he may carry away in his hand. You're not going to take the wealth of this world with you, right? And in many cases, you can be in a venture, you think you're really doing well, and it can be gone in a moment. The way our economic system's structured, be prepared for it. It's just crazy the way things have developed over the last number of years. And I think most people know the precarious situation that the global economy